the definition of inflation. When I look at the definition, inflation refers to the general increase in prices. Here, I want to show you a price tag at a shop, where on the price tag, I hope you can see this, the original price of the item was 140 Rand. Then there was a second value that was also marked on it, and it was 150 Rand. So there you can see that the same product price has increased. How is that possible? This specific example was due to a shortage of cotton. So what they had to do is they had to increase the price of the garments that were made of cotton, because at that specific time there was a shortage of cotton. Now, in our first slide, we looked at the causes of inflation. And one of them was the demand pull inflation. If there's a demand for something, it increases the inflation. In this instance, when I look at this example, it shows you that there wasn't cotton, so there was a huge demand for it. So it increased the inflation due to the demand of it. Now, secondly, if I look at the definition, it says a decrease in the purchasing power of money. I just want you to look at that section first. Decrease in the purchasing power of money. Now, I wonder how many of you can remember last year's value of your money. You could have taken a 20 Rand and go to a store and buy 2 liters of milk and a bread. But this year, if I want to do the same, I realize that my 20 Rand can only buy 2 liters of milk. It cannot, these days, buy 2 liters of milk and a bread. So that shows you that your money has decreased its power of purchasing. So very important, I repeat it again, inflation does not only refer to the increase of prices, but also to the decreasing in the purchasing power of your money. But very important, look at the next part, it says, when measured against a particular standard. So I can just not go out into the world and say, oh, but our money has lost its value. It must be measured against a certain standard. And that standard is called CPI. We are going to learn a bit more about the CPI in a while. There's another example for you. In 1955, the price of milk was 10 cents per liter. In 1968, it was 84 cents per liter. And today, it's approximately 8.50 Rand per liter. Yes, the times have changed. Some things get more expensive. But can you do the same with the same amount that you did a while ago? And the answer is definitely no. And why? Because of inflation. Now, let us quickly look at some keywords. Because when you come across these words in a question paper, it is important that you understand what they represent, what they stand for, and what they mean. The first one is Consumer Price Index. If you listen on the radio or over the news, when they do the financial information of the day, they often use this terminology. But what does it mean? This is the index that is used, which is also called the Cost of Living Index. As I say, we know we have a lot of economical strains on our country, and things get more expensive. And can people still survive with the income which they have. And the CPI, therefore, gives them an index to see, but what is the current cost of living? It is used to measure inflation in South Africa by Statistics South Africa. So if you want to Google some more information about the CPI or inflation, a very good place to start is to go to the website of Statistics South Africa and find out a little bit more, because they are the ones that compile all of this information for us, so that it's not necessary for us to go out and to collect the data ourselves. Lastly, it is given as a percentage. This refers now to the inflation. The inflation rate is always in a percentage. And as I said, it was mentioned last night on the television that our current inflation rate is 5.9%. So already you must be alert to know what are the type of calculations I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to work with percentages. Another important thing to remember when we work with the consumer price index, and we'll do some examples of that too, is that there are 3 different CPI indexes. The first one is just the plain CPI. I'll give you an explanation of that now. And then there's also a CPIX and a CPIF. The only difference is the one with the F refers to the total inflation, but they exclude home loans and mortgages. And when it is the CPIF, the F stands for food. So now it only takes the inflation rate of food into consideration. At a later stage, I'll also give you an example and an exercise to do on that. Right, now, how is it measured?